میں ہوں شبیر حسین. ہمارے ساتھ موجود ہیں انڈونیشیا کے سفیر مسٹر ایڈم ٹینگو. ہاؤ وڈ یو ڈسکرائب the culture of Pakistan and the people of Pakistan?
Pakistan is blessed by very rich cultures and also beautiful countries, and in terms of people is also very friendly, and in terms of the culture is very rich. We find most extremes actually. The northern part very cold,
Okay.
but the southern part is very hot. So in between, like in Islamabad, probably this is a melting pot for the cultures, the diversity of cultures of Pakistan, whereby you see a potpourri of cultures Pakistans in Islamabad. So Pakistan is one of the beautiful countries.
How you would describe the foods of Pakistan and what you specifically like, which food you like in Pakistan in terms of taste?
Well, Indonesians like Pakistani.
Okay.
We are fond of spices. We love spices, and even islands Pakistani people are more generous in using spices.
Okay.
It's very hot. Yeah, the southern. If you go to the southern part in Pakistan, they are more, like spices very much. This is something that I learned, and I think there's a lot of similarities in terms of spices. And even interestingly, in Indonesia, you can see from the spices actually the confluence of the cultures between our two countries. Because in Indonesia, you can also easily find nasi biryani with Indonesian versions.
Okay.
We call it nasi kuning, or pasandai, which we call rendang.
Okay.
And by the way, rendang was voted twice as the best food in the world by CNN. And you also have a chicken tikka, which can easily be found also in Indonesia. We call it satay.
Okay.
And we have 50 different varieties of satay. Even I know in Pakistan, iftar does not count without pakora.
Okay.
And in Indonesia, we have also the Indonesian versions of pakora. We call it bakwan.
Okay.
So there's a lot of similarities in terms of the cuisines. And in fact, I just published a new booklet publications capturing once again not only the similarities but also how spices actually become a glue to strengthen our bilateral relations.
Right. Mr. Ambassador, how you describe the role of a woman in any economy, keeping in view Indonesian women roles in your economy and Pakistani role, and what area you think that women can play more?
In Indonesia, women entrepreneurs become the backbones of our economy. They work from home.
Okay.
They sold their product from home, and the economy was growing because of the women. Women plays very important roles in the Indonesian economy. That's why the government of Indonesia then have decided to give full support for women entrepreneurs by providing easy access to get financial support from the government banking sectors, private banking sectors. We also integrate the women's entrepreneurships with digital economy, because nowadays we learn that this is the easiest ways, and this is the ways how you can easily sell your products to the wider audience. So that's part of those evidences whereby women plays very important roles in the economy.
Do you have any plan of your government to start the flights between Pakistan and Indonesia? So is there any plan of your government in future to start the direct flights in Pakistan?
I really aware of the importance of building or strengthening the cultural bridge between people-to-people countries of Indonesia and Pakistan, and having a direct connections not only will strengthen the people-to-people connections, but also will improve trade relationship between the business community of Indonesia and Pakistan.
Right.
Now we are in the process.
Right.
So hopefully very soon we will get the good news that the direct flight will be in operation soon, operational soon in Islamabad and Indonesia, because we believe this is the two countries has the potential a lot in terms of improving the relationship, not only trade but also people-to-people contact.
What specific goals that Indonesia has fixed to sustain the climate change, and what you think, in your opinion, that has to be work in Pakistan to protect the climate activities?
Threat posed by climate change, actually this is the common the climate change issues of shared concerns, so not only Indonesia but also many countries around the globe will be affected by the induced impacts of the climate change. So we need to work together in trying to reduce and bring adaptations program to the climate change. Look at, for instance, for the countries like Indonesia, the biggest archipelagic countries in the world, then the raisings of the weather, raisings of the degrees of the climate temperatures will raise the sea level. If sea level raise, then floodings will become more common in Indonesia. That's why we focusing the Indonesian government. We made a voluntary pledge to reduce carbon emissions by initially 29, now we increased to 31% by 2030.
Right.
But with the international community help or assistance, then we hope that we would be able to increase the emissions to reduce the carbon emissions to 41% with the international assistance by 2030. So this is a voluntary pledge by the Indonesian governments in trying to reduce the emissions of carbons. But in doing so, we focus on several areas of important ones in forestries, because Indonesia is also one of the biggest tropical forests in the world. So we realize the importance of forests as the green lung for the world. So we implement several policies, try to improve the management of forestries. The second on the industries, because industries plays very important roles also. Okay. In this regard, we also working together with different stakeholders, raising awareness and educate the industrial segment on how they can contribute in lowering the emissions of carbon emissions. The third on the transportations. Okay. Transportation is also very important because they usually oil and gas. Yeah, exactly. So we are now in the process of transitions toward the more renewable energy. Okay. But it needs to be done in such way not to disrupt, right. Everything. So that's the third area. The fourth area, the management of waste, because management of waste also is very important. Yes. Recycling waste, and also sometimes we also use waste as energy, as fertilizer. So those are four areas in which we are focusing our policies to mitigate the adverse impact of the climate change.
Ambassador, as you given us a good news that you have a plan to start the direct flight between Pakistan, what specific message you would from this platform to give the business community of Pakistan to invest in Indonesia, and what sector you suggest for them?
Indonesia offer a lot of opportunities for private sectors to invest in Indonesia. And I think in many areas whereby we can focus, for instance, the industries whereby we are complementing each other. We have a complementary product, like for instance garment, textile. Garment can be produced by Pakistans, but some of the materials may come from Indonesia, like vinyl, viscose. So this is one of the investments area whereby it's very attractive for Pakistani. The other areas also on the probably surgical equipment. Pakistan's Sialkot is well known to produce the best surgical equipment. But the core, the raw material for the steel, Indonesia has produced the steel, one of the biggest steel producers. So we can team up also, having the investments on those. And the third, on the tourist sectors also will offer a good opportunity for Pakistan to invest, because in Bali, for instance, that the second biggest international visitor to visit Bali came from South Asia. So I think this is a niche market. So if you invest in Indonesia on the properties by building hotel, boutique hotel, or mediums hotels, then for sure more people from South Asia, whenever they travel to Bali, they can, they will be attracted to find hotel where they can find cuisines like local cuisines back home.